Happy 17 months to your little one. It can be really hard to figure out exactly where your child should be and what sort of things you should be encouraging your child to do. So in this video, I'm going to be using the Ages and Stages Questionnaire to let you know what you should be looking for as far as developmental milestones for your little one and activities you can do to support them. Let's get into it. If you're new here, hello and welcome. My name is Jenny. I am a certified teacher, doctoral student, and also a mom of two lovely girls, Alice, who is 18 months old, and Mina, who is 2 months old. And in this video, I wanted to cover everything that you might be seeing out of your 17-month-old from 17 months and 0 days to 17 months and 30 days, and how you can encourage those different activities. The Ages and Stages Questionnaire breaks down abilities into 5 different categories: communication, personal social, fine motor, gross motor, and problem solving. In each of those subsets, I'm going to include 3 different tips for things that you should be working on with your child this month to make sure that they're going to meet their developmental milestones when you hit that 18-month Ages and Stages Questionnaire. So let's start with communication. One of the first things you're going to be working on in communication this month is trying to introduce 2- and 3-word phrases to your toddler. One of the ways I do this with Alice is that I will piggyback off a word she has already said. So if she says more, for example, I will say more water, more books, whatever it is that she is interacting with, to kind of show her how she can use a word that she's already using to add something onto it. Now, Alice is not quite there yet where she's combining those 2 words, but that is the goal that you're working towards in that 17-month time frame. If your child is already there, great, you're looking for those 3-word phrases. Something else to mention too is that things like bye-bye, goodbye, those don't count. Those count as 1 word because they're 1 thought. So it'd be things like go down or more milk. Those are things that are 2 separate thoughts that are being combined. So that is a difference that's really important to note in communication. Something else in communication that you should be working on with your child this month is finding an object from another room when you ask. So you could say, "Where's Pooh?" And your little one should be able to leave the room and go find Pooh and bring Pooh back. You can try this with any of their favorite toys. You could also hide something and make it a game. The goal is to get them to understand what you are asking of them and to go find the object and bring it. So whatever it is that you know that they know the word for, that's what I would ask them to go find and bring it. And then you can continue to add words and see how many times they can bring it to you. The last communication task that you should be working on is your child should be able to point to a picture in a book that you ask them to. So for example, with Alice, she's really into animals. So we have several different animal books. So I will open the book and I will say, "Alice, where is the cat?" And she should be able to point in the book to where the cat is. Whatever your child is interested in, really latch onto that, and whatever book it is that they like, ask them about that one. You can also do this with magnets. So if your little one is a little bit more kinesthetic and has fridge magnets, for example, you can have all those fridge magnets on the fridge and they can point to a picture of the magnet. So for example, we have a lot of Mickey magnets on the fridge right now, and since Alice knows the names of the characters, I could say, "Alice, where's Minnie Mouse?" And she could point to which one is Minnie Mouse. So whatever it is your child is passionate about, really latch onto that and use that to help them develop those communication skills. So the next section that you should be working on is fine motor skills. So the first thing in fine motor skills that you should be continuing to practice or encourage your child to practice is being able to stack blocks one on top of another or some small object. One easy way to do this is using those stacking cups that you probably have had since they were 6 months old and you're still using them now. So anything to practice stacking. I know for Alice recently, she started actually being able to put blocks together. We use like the Duplo blocks and she's able to actually put them together physically now. And that's a good way for her to practice stacking them and also practice the fine motor skills of getting them to fit together. Another fine motor skill that your child should be working on is being able to draw without modeling on a piece of paper using a pencil, pen, crayon, marker, whatever it is that you want them to use to draw with, or whatever it is they prefer. For Alice, she prefers markers. She really didn't like crayons for some reason, but she really liked markers. And so we practice every day with her drawing. This is also a good way for you to narrate what they're doing because you can include those communication pieces in there. So you could say, "Alice, which line is red?" if you're working on colors, for example. Or you could draw 2 different things and say, "Alice, which one is the cat?" The next fine motor skill you're going to want to work on this month is using a spoon without spilling food. This has been a struggle for us because Alice is a ham and she really likes to eat quickly, so she prefers to use her hand because she can just pick up more food that way than with a spoon. So for this, I recommend, and this is what I'm doing, using foods that are a little bit more liquidy, like we're using oatmeal, where your child cannot grab it easily to eat the food. That will encourage them to have to practice with that spoon. So use things like yogurt or oatmeal where it's just not easy for them to eat with their hands, and it will encourage them to use the spoon. You can also assist them too, but the goal is for them to be able to do it by themselves without spilling too much food. The next section that we are going to cover is gross motor skills. Gross motor skills are all those big motions that have to do with large body functions. So the first one that you're going to want to practice is actually kicking a ball. You can model it for your child and then show them how to kick a ball, and the goal is for them to be able to kick the ball too. They should have mastered throwing by now, so kicking is just another gross motor where they're connecting their foot with an object and realizing it will push the object along. Make sure you model it a lot for them. Go outside, kick a ball around, see if they can do it. If they walk into it, that still is a good sign in the right direction because they're understanding that walking into the ball helps it move forward. So walking into it is still a great thing to see as well and encourage. Something else that you should practice if you have the ability to do so is your child should be able to walk down stairs with help. So holding your hand or holding a rail, start practicing walking downstairs. Now, if you don't have stairs in your house, maybe you can find some stairs in the neighborhood, even just like 3 or 4 stairs that you can practice going down the stairs with. Down is a very different skill from up. Up has already been covered in an older Ages and Stages questionnaire. Now we're working on down. For Alice, she definitely is not comfortable walking downstairs without holding my hand or a railing just yet. So definitely use your hand or railing to encourage them to have that extra stability right now. The last gross motor milestone that you're going to want to encourage, which is a blessing and a curse in my house, is your child should be working on climbing on top of something to get what they want. Now, Alice is a little bit too efficient with this, and we have to discourage her from climbing on occasion because sometimes she'll climb up on a chair where little sister is resting, and little sister is only 2 months old. We don't want her to climb all over her. So in the controlled settings, you want to encourage climbing to get something that they want because it is a gross motor milestone, but it's a double-edged sword. Okay, so now let's move on to personal social skills. The first personal social skill you're going to be looking for with your child is they should be able to mimic something that you're doing, like brushing your hair or showing them how to brush their teeth or sweeping the floor or washing a table. So you're going to want to see them mimicking something that you can do and do all sorts of stuff and see if they'll mimic you. For Alice, things that she likes to mimic is I'll give her a little tiny dollop of Baby Ganix hand sanitizer and she will wash her hands. She also will use a brush to brush her hair. She will also occasionally use a toothbrush to brush her teeth, but that one she's not as fun with, and she will wash a table using a wipe. So try different things and see what it is that they will mimic from you, but they can be household activities. So anything that you can think of, asking them to put something in the trash can. If they can mimic you putting something in a trash can, that is still counting as that personal social. The next personal social area that you're going to want to encourage is a little bit of imaginative play using dolls. So they should be hugging a doll or patting a doll on the head, anything like that with a doll or a stuffed animal. It can be a stuffed animal too if you have a little one that you don't want to give dolls to or that doesn't have dolls. So some of the things that we will ask Alice to do that have encouraged her to play with these dolls is sometimes she will feed the dolls. I'll ask her to give Minnie a smoothie, for example. Sometimes she will give them a hug. I will ask her to pat them on the back, and she can do that as well. So really encouraging that kind of nurturing play with a doll or a stuffed animal that they really enjoy. The last personal social milestone is actually drinking from a cup without spilling much. Now, this is an open cup, and that can be challenging at times to encourage because you will wind up with messes in the process. One of the cups I really like using is an Easy Peasy cup. They're very small, they're maybe about this big. I'll put a picture of the Easy Peasy tiny cup over here. You can put just a little bit of water in there and it's perfect for their tiny hands to learn how to drink from the cup. Expect some spills while you practice this, but the more they practice, the better they're going to get with it. So it's really important that you give them chances to practice this, even if on a regular basis you still use a cup with a straw and a lid. The last section of the Ages and Stages Questionnaire and the last section of skills that you're going to work on are problem solving. The first area you're going to work on with problem solving is your child using an object to get something that they want. I've found with Alice that this has happened organically. If she really wants something, she's going to find a way to get to it. For example, if she really wants something on top of the cubes where we have all of her toys, she will stack some books to stand on them to get the toy. So whatever it is, you can even give them a tool, for example, to help them knock something off a shelf or something like that, to encourage them to use tools to get something that they want. Or maybe if your child is very food motivated, you can put a snack on the table, give them a spatula, and have them try to figure out how to get it down. So anything to encourage tool use to get something that they want. The second section of problem solving is being able to retrieve something from inside a clear bottle. For Alice, we used basically what was a Voss bottle for the last few months. So now I'm actually using a smaller opening water bottle to encourage her to kind of have to problem solve just a little bit more rather than just dumping it straight over. She's gonna have to kind of try to swirl it around to get the stuff out of the inside of the bottle. But using a clear bottle to get something out of is another part of the Ages and Stages Questionnaire milestone for problem solving. The last section of problem solving is still connected to that fine motor skill of drawing, but a little bit different. This time you're going to be drawing a straight line and encouraging your child to mimic the straight line that you have drawn. Now, obviously, being a toddler, you cannot possibly expect it to be perfectly straight, but it should be mostly straight. So squiggles don't really work, but if it's kind of like a curved straight line, as long as you can tell that they're emulating you, that's what you're looking for. So you would model how to draw a straight line and then see if they can emulate what you are doing. So those are all the skills you're going to work on with your 17-month-old. I hope this was helpful. The Ages and Stages Questionnaire is used by doctor's offices, hospitals, and social programs to evaluate whether or not a child is developmentally where they need to be, or if they might need a little bit of extra support or screening. I find that using the Ages and Stages Questionnaire is very helpful in knowing exactly where my child is, and I hope that going through these will be helpful for you as well. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. I do an entire series on developmental milestones, and I will be doing them as Alice grows up and also as my daughter Mina grows up. So if you have a littler one, I have some smaller milestone videos, younger milestone videos that you could check out. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care.